Hey guys, you know what time it is. It's HMK once again with the analysis and secrets of the Monsters, Inc. Kingdom Hearts 3 D23 Tokyo, Japan 2018 trailer. Boy, that's a mouthful. And speaking of mouthfuls, there's a lot to go over in this trailer. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the show. And if you do, please consider subscribing to your boy HMK for more videos on Kingdom Hearts 3. With that being said, let's get into it. Now, we do know that in the beginning of the trailer, we're going to see Sora talk with Marluxia, who is now back in Kingdom Hearts 3, which I know a lot of people are excited for, myself included, but there is a little bit of a debate that I do want to glance over a little bit, that I do plan to make a video separately in order to flesh out a little bit, and that is the supposed mistranslation of this conversation between Sora and Marluxia. Now, it goes along the lines of that when Marluxia is talking about the new organization, or the only organization, this segment right here, in the original Japanese trailer, he's talking about, yes, I'm part of the second organization, I'm Marluxia, I serve it, and this translation here says that the only organization, I, Marluxia, save it, or serve it, whatever, could be along the lines of, yes, I am part of the true organization that young Xehanort was talking about in Dream Drop Distance, or I'm part of a separate organization where a lot of people theorize that it could be that he's talking about the original Union leaders, the Dandelions that he himself as a human, as Lorium, was part of back in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Now, it's really up in the air that people are saying that, oh, I'm going to believe this, I'm going to believe that. Now, this is my take on this. I'm going to go with an official translation that was sanctioned and approved by Square Enix USA and Disney, that was presented as an official Kingdom Hearts trailer on the official Kingdom Hearts YouTube channel and website. I'm going to go with that and their translation that is being presented to audiences outside of Japan. Now, this goes into the argument of literal translations and romanizations. And romanization is basically like the super literal translation of what you get from when you translate Japanese over to any other language, either Latinization or romanization and transliteration and all that good jazz. All right, and that's why we refer to certain things in the Kingdom Hearts series, or certain things in video games in general, as different names from what they are perceived and presented as in Japan. That's why we call second chance and not last leave. That's why we call two become one, not serendipitous duo, and stuff like that. It gets translated for a better understanding outside of Japan. So I feel that there was a bit of a mistranslation of whoever wanted to try and romanize what was actually said by Marluxia in the Japanese trailer. And that's my take on this. I'll be able to put out a more fleshed out video in the future. So let's get back to the, not the translation, but the analysis. So we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy are ready to talk with Marluxia. He's like, come on, has-beens. And then he's like, has-beens? What do you mean by that, bro? Now, I want to talk about this scene a little bit in particular, where we do see Sora, Donald, and Goofy in what I think, and a lot of people believe, is to be the Tangled World, aka Kingdom of Corona. Now, let's talk about certain things. We see some cool angel rays. We see a good amount of lighting effects and stuff. And that was never really, presented well in the Kingdom Hearts series, because there was never a need to, or the technological advances weren't there. So one thing I do want to say that we're going to notice throughout this whole segment is that there is a good amount of wind going on. There's, you see shadows moving, you see the grass moving below. There's a lot of bellowing when it comes to all the plants and all the scenery behind Sora and Marluxia as they have their conversation that's moving. But in relation to that, we obviously can tell there is some, wind going on, but we don't see it applied to any of these characters. And it's not really a complaint, but it's something that I do notice that, I won't say it takes away from the living, breathing world. As you can see, the flowers are actually moving in the background and stuff. The shadows are moving. There is wind going on. And you would think that it would apply to Sora and company. Because as you see, as, Marluxia moves his hand, you can see that his sleeve from the organization code is, moving a little bit. Check that out. See? I feel that Nomura and his team, or Square Enix, will change that in the future. It's not really something that I'm like, oh my god, this is bad, I'm gonna, not buy Kingdom Hearts. But you would expect something like at least Sora's hair or Marluxia's hair moving in the wind ever so slightly. Now, there's one thing that a lot of people are talking about in this scene in particular is Sora's eye color. Now, it is a bit more green than where it should be, and a lot of people would debate that, oh, is this, his eyes fusing with the yellow of Xehanort? Is this something that we should be talking about or whatnot? Now, there is a really good argument in place where it's saying that it could be the lighting of the area, and it could be the reflection of the green around these characters reflecting off of Sora's eyes. And that would be a great use of technology and a great leap, showing the evolution of the Kingdom Hearts graphics, Square Enix's graphical masteries and all that stuff. But the argument that goes against that is that Marluxia has a very similar shade of blue in his eyes, and he's in the very same area that Sora is in, and we don't see any green in his eyes. So that's the thing. But in order to go against that, I will say this, that if you notice right away that Sora is facing where the sunlight is coming from, so it could be easier for the lighting to be reflected off of Sora's eyes, where Marluxia is standing away from the sunlight, so that's why it couldn't get reflected as much off his eyes as it is to Sora's. Oh boy, that is a lot of stuff to talk about, in particular when it comes to these characters. And as we see, we have a bigger landscape of the scenery behind Marluxia and even Sora, and it all looks grand. I cannot wait to scour this Kingdom of Commercial world, and we're gonna see a lot more of this in the trailer, beyond that. And we see here Donald and Goofy, shaking their heads because they don't remember Marluxia. As you guys remember, in Chain Memories, Sora's memory did get wiped, so all memories of him interacting with any organization member inside the Castle of Oblivion would get wiped. That's why he didn't recognize Axel in Kingdom Hearts 2, and so on and so forth. Now, Marluxia says, "Shame you have no memory of me, because I remember you exceedingly well." Now, I really like this shot because it shows 3 different emotions of, belief when it comes to talking to Marluxia. Sora's all like, "Oh yeah, I'm interested." Goofy's like, "I wonder what he's talking about." And then Donald's like, "Yo, I've had enough of this. Let's go ahead and smoke this dude. Let's get it." And now we transition to the next scene, where it shows Woody, Buzz, Ham, and Rex hiding from some Heartless, which I feel is such a cool way to introduce these characters. And I gotta say, this Heartless design of like a little toy Heartless is just adorable. If you can even see like the teeth, or I would say the jagged motion of what his teeth should be on his head, and we can obviously tell this is an emblem Heartless because we have the emblem on the Heartless. So we have these guys ready, they're ready to bum rush these dudes, and knowing that Woody and Buzz are going to be party members in this world, I really want to see what they can do when it comes to combat or whatever, because they're ready to roll up on this dude like it's none. And that's just one Heartless, but as we all know with Heartless, they like to move around in swarms and packs or whatever. Buzz is like, "Let's do this, bro." 1, 2, and then one shot you can see here as they close up on Rex, you can see the detail on Rex's body, and then you can see a bit of the scuff marks on Ham's nose and ears, and I'm just like, yo, Pixar worlds are going to be so bumping in Kingdom Hearts. I cannot wait. And you can even see like Rex like twiddling his fingers. The detail in this world is just already in this. Alright, so we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy run up on these Heartless in place of the Toy Story crew with the Toy Story Keyblade, which is something that I'm gonna state in a further video. Since Keyblades are going to have their, I would say, transformations unlocked, we already know that the transformations are going to be unlocked when you complete the worlds. I feel that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to do something different, where you get the world-themed Keyblades at the beginning of the worlds, which will be very interesting. It'll give you a chance to play around with these Keyblades, and once you beat the world, it's like, hey, this is the Keyblade transformation that you unlock, so on and so forth. So Buzz goes ahead and tells them to like, yo, chill out. There is some sort of drawing in the background, but it's a little too blurry to like, understand because of the way the camera pans over to the Toy Story crew, and I can't really see it, but yeah, up and away. Now, here is something very interesting where we're going to talk about the Monsters, Inc. world. Now, there's a lot of cues, and they will be shown off later in this trailer, which shows that not only is this going to be an original story that was stated before that, Monsters, Inc. and Toy Story and Big Hero 6 are going to follow original stories in Kingdom Hearts 3, but we can tell right off the bat that this is going to be after the events of the first movie. And one thing that gives that away is that you see where the logo says, "We scare because we care." You see that obviously someone is going to work on the scare part in particular, because if you watch Monsters, Inc., you already know that they went from screams to laughter, because laughter powers the electricity of the world in Monsters, Inc. a lot better than screams ever did. So they transitioned from scares to laughter, screams to laughter or whatever. And you can see that, someone is ready to work on the scare portion of the, logo, because you can see the scaffolding there ready. It's like, okay, we got to take this down because, we're doing something different. We're doing laughter instead of screams. here Sora, Donald, and Goofy are in their monster forms, and I'm so glad that Donald's face isn't deflated, because if you saw the original leaks of this world in the models of Sora, Donald, and Goofy, Donald's face was mad deflated. It's like someone sat on it. It was really bad. It was like a whoopee cushion for a head. But I'm glad that, you know, our boy Donald has a full head this time, and that big one eye is just looking pretty good. So moving on, we're gonna talk about Sully and Mike Wazowski, and look, oh no, and look at Goofy, man. Like, it's like his 2 eye colors and 2 eye sizes, man. I love his design, but they did our boy dirty. Like, Goofy looks pretty wonky. So here we are with Sully and Boo, which we can obviously tell that Boo came back after the events of Monsters Inc. Probably after Mike became the executive position person that he was at the end of the movie, and then, you know, Mike is like, oh, it only works for every piece. We need this last piece, and it was under his little scoreboard or whatever. Puts a piece into the door, and then Boo's like, kitty, and then the movie ends. So is this probably gonna take place after that? You know, they have their little happy reunion, and, you know, they're not hiding Boo anymore because there's no need to. But it's very weird, because this next segment is right here. It's like, what? Careful, Sully. If they see the KID, you know, they're gonna be freaked out, because of course, you know, humans are supposedly toxic to monsters. That was the lie they were going around with throughout the entire movie up until the end. So what I want to believe is that they're still in that transition period where the public still doesn't know that humans, in fact, are not toxic to monsters, and they still don't know that laughter is now powering the city. So I feel that this game will explain that kind of transitional phase that the whole city or the whole world of Monsters Inc. is going to get accustomed to. It's like, hey, listen, guys, screams are not the thing. Laughter is what's powering the world now. And kids, they're not toxic, so you guys can chill. So the public really doesn't know. Only the workers of Monsters Inc. kind of know this deal. And that's why I feel that, you know, Mike Wazowski was panicking a little bit, because, you know, any outside monsters don't know that deal. So that's probably what the, you know, narrative going on in the world of Kingdom Hearts 3 for Monsters Inc. is going. So we hear Sora, you know, he's not afraid of, you know, Boo, because they're fake monsters thanks to the magic of Donald transitioning them in order to keep the world's order. So they know that, you know, kids are harmless or whatever. And then, you know, Mike Wazowski is like, wait a minute, you're not afraid of humans? So he's probably gonna be like, hey, are you with the 2419? Are you with the, you know, the Bureau of Investigations or whatever? And then look at Boo. Boo looks exactly as she should from the Pixar film. So is Mike. Sully, they need to work on his fur. Like, and that's something I'm not holding against Square Enix, because anything with too much fur, the amount of fur that Sully has, can, you know, spell the end for types of animation or stuff, because they just have to work in it. But it's not something too much of a, you know, big deal. Sora's fur, his fur is not really that long. It's a short, furry type hair thing or whatever, so it doesn't look as bad as on him. But, you know, Sully has some pretty long fur everywhere but his face. But Mike and Boo, they look great. They look like they've just been ripped out of the Monsters Inc. movie. Mike Wazowski! And then she's recognizing Mike Wazowski as Donald because of the one eye thing. Yo, check out the detail on Boo's skin. That's crazy. Come on, Boo, I'm Mike Wazowski. And then you see them, you know, talking about Mike Wazowski, which is going to be such a funny thing. I feel that a narrative, like a subplot narrative, is going to be Donald and Mike, you know, kind of competing for the title of Mike Wazowski in the face of Boo or whatever. It's going to be a really funny subplot. Well, my name is Sully, and this is, oh, we know, he's Mike Wazowski, right? And Donald's like, probably, you know, keep a lookout. It's like, Sora, we cannot stick around here. We gotta go. We gotta roll out. We gotta understand why we're here. We gotta look for the key to return hearts. Is it here? We cannot stay. So, oh boy, sorry, my bad. All right, so we're gonna go back to Monsters Inc. All right. You're not afraid of humans? Come on, Boo. Oh, Mike Wazowski. Yeah, we know. Mike Wazowski. So Donald's looking around. And here we're finally at the gameplay segment, which there's a lot to go over. Holy snap. So we have one thing off the bat. Sora's new Keyblade for the Monster Inc. World looks great. 2, the command list has finally been updated. So yo, this game is ready to come out 2018. Let's get him. And of course, Mike and Sully are partners in this world, bringing up the party value in Monsters Inc. to 5, just like in the Toy Story world and in the Tangled world, which you'll see later on in this trailer. Spoiler warnings. So the command list has been updated, and that it does get reflected in multiple worlds, as you'll see later on in the trailer. Now, in this segment, we're seeing at the very high point, which seems to be at behind Monsters Inc. itself, because we're going to look at a point very similar to the entrance, which I feel gets replicated to the back of the entire, company or whatever. So it seems that the only place you guys can go to, because this is an open world type Kingdom Hearts game, and it seems the only area you can go to is the drop area. The drop zone is like, hey, fall hazard, because as you can see over here, well, I'm pretty sure we cannot go over here, and there's gonna be some sort of invisible wall that keeps us from jumping from the end of the path. So if I feel that Mike, Sully, and the rest of the crew, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, had to get to this point in order to jump off and get into a certain area that possibly has been locked out. They've been locked out of. So it's like, oh, we gotta go to this area, and we have to jump down here, as you can see in this segment, in order to get to an area that we couldn't, really just open the door. It's like, how do we get to this room? We gotta go and jump off this high area. And then Mike is just like, yo, are you crazy? Come on, guys, we have to save Boo, or something like that. So as we see here, Sora jumps off the falling hazard area and then goes for a dive. Yo, this dive animation, I will never get tired of that. But I want to know exactly what dictates Sora going into this dive mode, I would like to call it. So like, does Sora need to fall a certain amount of time in order to activate the dive thing? Or will it be, something like you can hit a stick or something like that? Hit L3 or R3 in order to activate dive mode or whatever. But I feel that it's gonna be activated on its own, not manually, because I feel there's something that I feel that people can abuse it and spam it in the long run or whatever. So like I said before, we see the main building of Monsters Inc. right there as Sora is falling there. There goes the big logo, and the fact that Sora is falling over a helicopter, I wonder if you can actually bash it or anything like that. But the fact that this world is so, alive in that sense, we have a helicopter following Sora and the crew, and then Sora's like, yo, we gotta go. Now, one thing that I do want to say, it's not really a complaint once again, it's something I noticed I feel that, may not work too well, is that this level obviously is at night and the lighting seems very good, but it's not very well lit. So when you're in a segment like this, how much do you know exactly where to go? I mean, obviously, it kind of like, the lit areas like, oh, damn. Sorry about that. The lit areas, as I was saying, is marked by lights. Where you're supposed to go. It shows that, one square-like box. That's where you're supposed to drop. But how much of this area can we truly access? How much of this area can we truly, jump on? Can we jump on the railings or anything like that? Is there any hidden treasure chests that we can get by dropping in a different zone than what we're supposed to? Because it seems that, the helicopter, it could be a guide. It's like, okay, guys, you need to drop over here. And you can see that the helicopter's light is flashing on this zone where Sora is indeed dropping at. And the transition in lighting is just so nice in this game. But we do see something very similar to what we saw in the leak. I'm pretty sure there's a fire going down at the bottom. And I would like to help that fire put it out, but apparently we're not supposed to go there. So, are we truly limited on where we can dive in segments like this? Or can we dive just about anywhere? That's the argument that I want to pose in this area. But it seems that this helicopter and the lights around this area act as the guide to where you're supposed to drop. So as we drop into this area, this is another thing that kind of drives home the narrative speculation that I had earlier, where it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be after the movie. Look, we see balloons. Balloons are so happy. And if you see in this segment right here, up here, it says, think funny. So obviously, we're at the point in the Monsters Inc. timeline that Monsters Inc. already transitioned to the point where they are trying to get laughter and not screams. So it's definitely after the movie, which is so weird that we have Boo to come back, but we'll figure that out later. Here we have Sora and company fight a bunch of Unverse. These aren't Heartless, these aren't nobodies, these are Unverse. As you can see, some floods and these weird snail things, you can see they do have the Unverse symbol on their heads right here. and these weird, like, what are these, like, slither snakes? You know, like, what are these things? They're so weird. But Sora is indeed fighting these guys, and it seems that Sora's gameplay is going to be a bit similar to what we saw type of gameplay from Aqua in 0.2. But something I do want to point out is that when Sora is using Thundaga and it has the Thundaza situation command lit up, his Thundaga is a bit of a slightly different color than what we were used to in 0.2, because Thundaga was, like, you know, for the most part yellow, but here we have like a clashing yellow and bluish type white when it comes to the electricity that's being fallen on the ground from Thundaga. And I do want to say that it seems to be a bit different from how Aqua's Thundaga worked in 0.2, but, you know, it still looks so beautiful, and I can't wait to see what Thundaza looks like, because we do know that in 0.2 Aqua had Ja spells to her disposal. It went Thundaga to Thundaja, and in this one we go from Thundaga to Thundaza. So Sora is gonna have the Za spells to his disposal in Kingdom Hearts 2, and everyone thought it was crazy, but, you know, Za spells is what's bumping. So we do see here that Sully was getting bashed up a little bit by a little flood unverse, and it's reflected to his character portrait in the corner of the screen. So it seems that, you know, this is, you know, in real time, this is actual gameplay. I don't think this is, you know, something that was put together in a lab or whatever, like, you know, pre-rendered cutscenes or whatnot, but this is actual gameplay, which is really nice. Now on the floor we saw HP beads, we see MP beads, you know, the bubbles, and the MP beads are they look a lot better, because they used to just be clear bubbles, but now there are straight up blue bubbles. I'm like, yo, this is something I can roll it. I can see a lot easier. It's much easier on the eyes. Let's go. And we do see some money crystals, you know, fall on the ground as well, you know, when we defeat the Unversed. I don't see any drive orbs or anything of the sort, but I feel that, you know, maybe they won't drop if your focus gauge is completely full. And when I mean drive orbs, I mean like focus orbs or whatever. But it could be possible that we don't have any focus orbs, that the focus gauge gets filled up by, you know, getting attack damage dealt and attack damage received, that kind of thing. But let's continue, shall we? So here we have Sora activating the first Keyblade transformation of the Monster Inc. Keyblade, which is the Quick Claws! And this transformation looks so neat. We have here the Keyblade, which, you know, obviously looks like a, you know, mechanical monster with a claw into it, with the little Monsters Inc. cap, the worker's helmet, and then Sora transforming the Keyblade, and we see Boo's door, which is actually part of the Keyblade over here. If you see it, it's actually very small right there. That's the, you know, that's part of the Keyblade already, and it grows and then it transforms into the big Quick Claws, and then it comes back and retracts. Now, one thing I do want to say is that it seems that most, if not all, Keyblade transformations, while they're transforming, act as an attack that will deal damage to surrounding enemies. As you can see here, it is attacking a bunch of Unversed, and you see the stars. You know, when Keyblades attack enemies, they unleash out stars. The stars here is little, look, it's so cute. They're little one-eyed stars with little grins and stuff, like green and blue. Look at that. You can actually see them very clearly here. So some of them are green, some of them are blue. That's just so adorable, and they're just, you know, differentiating sizes and whatnot. Now, here, what I said earlier, it seems that one Unversed or whatever did drop something akin to a drive orb earlier. Right here, you can see right there the orange drive orb. So it looks like we will have drive orbs, but if I remember correctly, focus gauges can be filled up with orbs, attack damage dealt and attack damage received, especially if you have certain abilities on deck. So yeah, we do have drive orbs, and here we are, Sora with the Quick Claws. You know, let's see you channel that Wolverine, boy. Let's go. And I gotta say, the gameplay for the Quick Claws look very cool, very quick, ha ha ha, because they are Quick Claws, and as you can see, they're still fighting a bunch of Unversed. The three main Unversed, which are the Slugs, the Floods, and the Snake things. What are those? What would you call that? I don't know. So here we have Sora in the realm of a million doors, as we saw in the Monsters Inc. movie, and I'm so glad that situation commands also work in a way of, you know, reaction commands of old for the Kingdom Hearts, from Kingdom Hearts 2, because as you can see here, the triangle command revolves between rail sliding and taking cover. So we do have that contextual commands that were similar to reaction commands from Kingdom Hearts 2, but it seems that reaction commands are not going to come back in the form of those big cinematic attacks that apply to certain enemies, and they have been replaced with situation commands, which, you know, we'll have to play the game more in order to have a feel for this. But I am glad that contextual actions such as this do return in Kingdom Hearts 3, where Sora can take cover and attack and rail slide, you know, to dodge that lightning bolt. And then we see some, I want to say they're unversed in the, no, actually those are the, yeah, they might be unversed. No, they're heartless, because you can see them, you see hearts coming out of them when Sora defeats them. So they are heartless, and then, you know, Sora attacking them. So we're going to get heartless and unversed in the Monsters Inc. world. That's crazy. So many different differentiating enemies. And then you already know, since we already have unversed, nobodies, and heartless, I just want to say this, that Sora's drive forms, in order to level them up and get better, there's going to be like, oh, for power form, you're going to have to defeat this many heartless. For guard form, you're going to have to defeat this many nobodies. For magic form, which we'll see later, you're going to have to defeat these many unversed. And that's, oh, that's going to be a trip, yo. Channeling Kingdom Hearts 2, I cannot wait. So here we are back in Kingdom of Corona, and now we finally have a look at Sora's two partners, which is Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, aka Eugene. Oh boy, it's great. We can see all the flowers, all the lighting. It looks really nice. And I gotta say, the Keyblade for Rapunzel's world looks really, really good. And I feel that probably is gonna be my favorite Keyblade so far when it comes to a world-specific Keyblade. Yeah, the Hercules Keyblade looks good, but I feel this one looks a lot better. That Kingdom of Corona, because you can see right there, it's the tower with the sun as the teeth of the Keyblade. It looks really nice. Now, they're fighting a bunch of these heartless, these flower-like heartless, and it looks really nice. You can see Flynn actually fighting with a frying pan, just like in the movie, and Sora activating, which a lot of people believe to be a combo finisher. But something that's weird about this that you see later in this trailer makes me believe that it's not a, I would say, regular combo finisher. It's a manual combo finisher, akin to what we see sometimes in Kingdom Hearts 2 with the lift command. I keep forgetting the name, the explosion that lifts up the things when you press square at any point after, you know, the combo is over or whatever. But well, I digress. We going on. Here we see, obviously, Mirage Staff situation command, which is ready. Now, a lot of people believe that Ariel, which we'll again see later, could be that staff weapon that we see later. It's not. The staff is the Keyblade transformation for the Kingdom of Corona Keyblade, the Tangled World Keyblade, which is very cool. It's a staff. I find staffs are very cool weapons in any type of video game, so I'm glad that Sora does get a staff in the form of a Keyblade transformation. So here we see Sora fighting some more heartless, and it seems that he's getting ready for the guard break attack, which we saw in Kingdom Hearts 2. So you can see that right here. See, like, oh boy, he's flipping around his Keyblade, and then he's going for attack. A lot of people thought this might be Zentensuken, but I don't believe so, because Zentensuken, when Sora does it, he holds the Keyblade backwards in order to go with a backhanded strike. But it seems that he's going for a stabbing motion, which is very akin to what we saw. So like right there, so like it looks like he does a double stab, which is weird. So he throws on the Keyblade, stabs once, then turns around, and then stabs again, and then he cancels out of it with a dodge roll. It could be that the animation kind of got funky at this point, because, you know, it shows the piercing animation, but Sora dodges backwards. So it could be something that Square needs to work on. So he's piercing forward, and then he dodge rolls back. And then as he dodge rolls back, the piercing animation kind of goes with him in that sense. So it could be something that Square Enix needs to work on. Very, very, very subtle. Not too much of a complaint, but, you know, it's whatever. So here we see Sora activating another Thundaga attack, where while Mirage Staff is waiting in the wings, and then it activates the Thundaza situation command. But here we have Rapunzel, you know, throwing her hair onto a tree, and then she's here to swing on the tree, which is something that she actually did in the movie. Not as an attack, but something as she's like, oh, this is the best day ever. It seems that whenever you're near a tree, so it seems that there's going to be a lot of contextual stuff within Kingdom Hearts 3. Whenever she's near a tree, she'll be able to do that and do like a spinning motion in order to attack the enemies around her, which is cool. You know, I'm down for something like that. It looks really, really nice or whatever. And I do want to say something before that I noticed is that Rapunzel has a type of spinning animation, which could be a combo ender where she spins her hair around, and look at the radius that she has when spinning her hair around attacking hearts. Yo, all of this light looks so bumping. Back at the segment, you can see in the background Flynn Rider is actually using a barrel to attack enemies, and he doesn't have the frying pan in his hand. So it looks like he's going to be a type of jack of all trades type character with multiple weapons. While Rapunzel's hair is gonna be her main weapon. So, you know, when you look at the character sheets or whatever on the main menu, it's gonna be like, oh, Flynn's weapons, all of these, and then Rapunzel's weapon, her hair, or none, or whatever. You know, it could be her hair because we do see Jack Skellington's weapon in Kingdom Hearts 2 as his bone fist. So, yeah. Continuing forward, we have the Dundaga, and yo, look at all the enemies. The Sora destroys with that. Yo, sparking, man, that looks so good. They're all dead. They're all destroyed. So here we have Sora once again using his finishing command on one enemy, and he dodge rolls out of it. Now check this out. He dodge rolls out of it, then goes to another Heartless, attacks once, and then the so-called finishing command happens again. So that has me wondering, is that something that you can manually do at any point during a combat as long as you start it? Or does Sora have, like, you know, negative combo times 5 and then finishing plus attacks? So it could be that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's not something I'm going to point out right away. And then here we have a close-up of Rapunzel's model, even though it's from her back. And then we see her hair. And her hair seems pretty funky. And then Nomura and Square Enix did say that the reason why it took so long to show off Rapunzel is because in order to try and get her hair to work was a trip. And I can see why. And, you know, once again, not really a complaint here. And, yo, you can see, like, the little petals following her as she, you know, revolves around the tree in order to attack the enemies around her, which is really nice. Here we have a close-up of Flynn Rider, and they can never get his nose right. Oh my goodness. So like, he's chilling. He looks high as hell. Like, look at that. He's like, yeah, man, I'm chilling. We're riding this barrel, and I'm gonna run over some Heartless. So, bro, we got this. Like, he's chilling. Look at that. But I do want to say that these models look really, really, really good. So, continuing forward, here we have Sora in his drive form with the Mirage Staff. The Mirage Staff, you can see right away the staff is the Keyblade Transformation because, one, the Mirage Staff seems in line with the Rapunzel World Keyblade design when he has it up, and of course it has a finished thing while he's running around. Now, a lot of people's like, yo, check out Wisdom Form. I don't particularly think it's Wisdom Form, even though it acts a lot like it. You know, Sora is revolving around with his Keyblade Transformation. He's like, you know, spinning around telekinetically like he did in Kingdom Hearts 2 with that one Keyblade. But I do believe that it's called Magic Form or something along those lines, or Ranged Form. As we see, the pattern on his clothes is a star pattern, and that's the same pattern that we got when Sora used his Keyblade Transformation for the two-shoot blaster Keyblade. We still don't know where exactly it's from. A lot of people believe it's from Yensis Tower. We don't know the name of the Keyblade itself, along with all these other Keyblades. But when he transformed into the two-shoot blaster and the magic launcher Keyblade Transformations, he assumed this form with this color. So it seems that, you know, sliding from Wisdom Form is back once again, and we have this to thank for it. It looks really nice. And yo, check out the running animation for Flynn and Rapunzel. That looks really nice. But man, she's gonna be dragging that hair all around the place. That's gonna be nuts. That's dirty, man. You gotta get some shampoo up and that stuff. Yo, Don's like, yo, wait for me, bros. I gotta get in this. All right, moving on. We're at a different point in the Kingdom of Corona where we see Sora once again swimming animation, and it seems to be very much in line from what we saw in past Kingdom Hearts games. Nothing too big, nothing too, you know, I would say deep in terms of swimming, because every time you swam in the Kingdom Hearts games, it was nothing huge. It was just, you know, get from point A to point B, and that's about it. So it doesn't seem that this promises any type of gameplay evolution when it comes to swimming in Kingdom Hearts, but, you know, no one really asked for that, so it's not something that's a big deal. Here we have the link system at work, and we do have confirmation that this is indeed Sora using the link system in order to conjure or summon Ariel, or it seems to be a version of Ariel, because, you know, she's made of water, obviously, but it just could go in line with her character because she is a mermaid in order to survive outside the water. And we see, you know, Sora and Ariel having a tender moment because Sora and Ariel are really good friends. They've had adventures in a row twice in Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, so they have gone to know each other very well. So, you know, Ariel is one of those recurring party members that Sora has a really good, really deep connection to, along with Jack Skellington and Aladdin. You know, these are some of the most reoccurring Kingdom Hearts partners that we've seen. And Hercules, of course. So, you know, Ariel being one of them, and I'm glad she's back in the form of Link so that we're not going to see Atlantica. Thank heavens, thank Nomura. So, Sora's conjuring up Ariel in one of the most fantastic scenes in this entire trailer. Look at all the water effects. Ariel jumping in happy, look at that, smiling, and then Sora is just happy for her back on the ground, and then she comes back down to Sora, and that's one thing I want to talk about. It looks like Sora is ready to catch her. Now, this is the Link system, so maybe Sora is getting ready to catch her in order for them to like have some sort of drive type fusion where Ariel will afford Sora probably water-based powers or something like that, or maybe Ariel becomes a weapon, because we do see that Sora is getting ready to catch her. Now, some people argued that this could be the continuing part of the animation where Sora catches Ariel and then they, you know, continue to like, you know, be, you know, buddy and give each other a hug or whatever, and that continues the animation. My argument against that is that I don't think it's going to be the continued animation, because at this point, a lot of the water has already, you know, like evaporated or gone away when Sora's getting ready to catch Ariel. So I feel that's the end of the animation, and that Ariel is either 1, becoming a weapon, 2, fighting alongside Sora and Sora simply catching her, or 3, Ariel and Sora's gonna have some sort of weird funky fusion where it's gonna give Sora a type of drive form, something very similar to what we saw with D-Links, where Sora gets a very particular set of attacks or whatnot. Maybe an evolution of that. We're gonna have to wait and see. But I do want to say once again, the water animation in this whole segment is so good. Look at that, like the water following Ariel is just so believable. My goodness gracious, Square Enix, you guys are gods at graphics. Look at that. The water. All right, so here we have Sora activating, or I should say finishing off a shot lock, and it seems that he has a lock of 16, as you can see, or lock 16. But before I go further into this segment, you can see right here we have some Dusk Nobodies and the Marluxia Scythe Nobody, which is right in front of Sora, where Sora is attacking. And then we do see Goofy behind that, you know, Scythe Nobody. And then we do see Rapunzel all the way in the distance behind 2 of the Dusks, which seems that she's, you know, slapping them up. It's like, yo, you can back up. So Sora used up a bunch of focus for the shot lock, and the shot lock at this point seems to be called Spectral Rays, and it looks really nice because here we have him activating it. Look, he is so ready to bum rush these Zeus. Now, it's unknown if this shot lock in particular is only going to be available for the Kingdom of Corona Keyblade or the Keyblade Transformations of the Mirage Staff, because it seems that this animation seems to be very well suited for that particular Keyblade, because the way he, you know, flings down the staff, and you can see all the lights bouncing off everything that he's like. I'm not entirely sure of the lock type 16 is the number of, you know, panels that he summons in order to reflect the light off, but it just looks like such a great animation at this point in the game. Oh my lord, I cannot wait for this game to come out and actually see, we can actually see a better shot of the scythe that these nobodies use in particular, and they seem to be rocking the Roxas symbol. Oh my god, are these Roxas nobodies? Look at that, that's the Roxas pendant, guys. Woo! But nah, I'm pretty sure that's just, you know, because of the X that is derived from the organization and nobodies in general. So here we're in the Dark Forest, which is probably going to be an area teeming with enemies. So I really like how this area, Kingdom Corona, is huge, and we haven't really seen the kingdom itself in terms of trailer. We've seen it in off-trailer shots, but with nothing in, you know, in motion, I would say. So we continue forward, and here we have, which I believe is the finished command for the Mirage Staff. You can see right here, it is the finished command because this one segment, the finish situation command for the triangle button has been hit. So it's Sora activating the finish command where he plunges the staff, which I say this design of the staff looks so cool. He plunges a staff into the ground and up comes a tower. Haha, I get it, Rapunzel, because she was locked away in a tower. Yeah, this tower is huge. Then two light versions of Sora come out and then offer their power to Sora's, and then, you know, activate a big spirit bomb type deal that shoots down raining light rays onto the enemies. And you can see right here it's raining down on a bunch of Heartless and enemies below them, and you can see a grand landscape of the entirety of the world. You can see a good shot of everything. You can see a couple of mountains off in the distance. You can actually see the sky. You can see pretty much almost everything that Sora can interact and traverse in this world, and I'm so excited for these gigantic worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, they look so good. All right, moving on. Here we're in a Toy Story segment, and it looks like Woody back there has a snake in his boot because he's ready to attack something. It looks grand. All right, so here we have Sora transforming his Toy Story Keyblade into the Hyper Hammer. Oh boy! And they seem to be in a ball pit of sorts. Oh my goodness, that place, the ball pits. Just so you know, ball pits, they are swimming with diseases. Oh boy, I couldn't tell you how many times I got sick from ball pits because, you know, kids couldn't clean up after themselves. Anyways, moving on. So we have here Sora smacking a bunch of these toy-like Heartless, and we see a large body in the background, and then we see Buzz getting smacked up by Heartless. Yeah, it seems that Heartless is like boosting in to attack Buzz with his foot, like a dive kick type motion. You can see right, dive and kick. Oh, Buzz, no! Dive kick. Oh, Buzz. Like you can see the point in pain right there. Ba 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 da. All right, moving on. We have Sora, you know, attack a lot of people with a wide range because the Hyper Hammer seems to have a huge radius of attack. Look at all of that. He's smacking them up, and then he is ready to plow into one of them. Oh, dude, that one unsuspected Heartless that's right down. Yo, kick him while he's down. Why don't you? Bam, boy. Oh, dude, I feel bad. No, I don't, but it's fine. Sora goes on and conjures up the Mad Teacups, which is something we saw in the 2015 trailer, and it looks really, really nice. So I'm glad that attraction flow seems. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that attraction flow is something that has not, you know, gone away. It's not something out of the minds of the developers or, you know, the people who present these Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, because we haven't seen attraction flow in a long time, but now we have confirmation that, you know, attraction flow is here and they're here to stay, but we still don't really know how exactly they're, you know, activated. More than likely they're, you know, contextual situation command limits that, you know, you have to be in a certain area with around certain enemies or certain things, and then you'll get the option in order to activate them. You activate them, and then you have a grand old time with the cup slide and cancel. Record hit, 37 hits, 41 hits. All right, here we have a very cool like area, which I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a boss, and probably not the final boss within the Toy Store world, but it's gonna be a boss that, you know, you get zapped to, because, you know, there is no toy store on the planet that will look like this on the inside. So Sora is getting ready to fight this giant mothership of sorts, and then here we have Woody, Buzz, and Sora getting ready to activate the rocket from Toy Story 1, which is so cool. Oh my goodness. And it's called the Rocket Ruckus. Now, a lot of people were wondering, what is this exactly? A lot of people thought that this might be, you know, a finished command for the Keyblade transformation that is from the Toy Story world. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be one of those contextual party member limits that we saw. We saw something like this in the Kingdom Hearts trailer in 2015 with Goofy, where Sora, Donald, and Goofy, you know, line up and then they hide behind Goofy's shield, and then they attack a bunch of those bull-like Heartless in the Hercules world at a time. And I feel that is what we're seeing here right now, because, you know, there's no reason for Woody and Buzz to be on top of the rocket with Sora unless this is an attack that requires all three of them. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people thought this was, you know, part of the Keyblade transformation. It's not going to be, because, I mean, we're going to be able to transform that Keyblade outside of the Toy Story world without Woody and Buzz. So what, was Woody and Buzz going to jump on the rocket outside of the world? No, it's not going to work like that. So it's probably going to be ending up being a party member situation command limit. And, you know, I can't wait to see these limits in general, like all of them. So, like, you know, the character limit, the party limit for Woody and Buzz, and you're gonna need both of them in order to activate it. Rocket Ruckus, here we go. You know, send off the rocket in order to hit the boss Heartless, and that is not a lot of health that got taken away from the boss. Look at that. You can see right there the health that got taking away that is a little bit of that's bad. Okay, so here we back, shortcuts and command list for Sora's Keyblade or whatever. And look, he gets his Keyblade back, which was, you know, probably just hiding or whatever. He goes ahead and activates Faraga spell, which we don't see, you know, hit the enemy in contact before we get to the next segment. But this boss fight looks bumping. Man, it looks crazy, dude. I can't wait to fight this boss. So it seems that the boss will be able to change the background in certain segments. I don't think there's gonna be. I don't think the boss itself is gonna be segmented itself that will change the entire landscapes when it hits a certain, you know, HP limit, because we do see that the HP is full in this next segment right here. It could be that, you know, the boss transforms and then you have to fight it again and then it has the same HP amount, but it's still up in the air of what it could be. And then you see Sora jumping on a bunch of stuff, which is, you know, in a form of orbit around this space type of enemy, which makes a lot of sense because it is a mothership and it has its own orbit around it. And like, yo, these toys look so stupid, man. Like this dollar store brand Tree Trunks, look at that. Yeah, Tree Trunks dollar store brand from Adventure Time. Oh my goodness. So Sora is ready to attack these things, and we have like a dollar store brand Mr. Pig from Adventure Time. Yo, like we got Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. Yo, leave them alone. As we're going up to this point, it seems that Sora is able to shot lock and flow chain all the way to this one block in order to get closer to the Heartless, and he's probably going to end up having to jump on top of it and dodging this electric ring around it. So that makes a lot of sense. We saw this in the Olympus world in a previous trailer, so it's probably going to be that. Here we're back at Monsters Inc., and we are ready to see some, you know, some Heartless. No, yeah, Heartless. That is what the Heartless is, because I'm so glad soldiers are back to this color. Holy snap, it's really nice. So here we have Sora activate the second form of his Keyblade transformation, which was the Quick Claws, and now it goes into the Twin Yo-Yos. And I know a lot of people are excited for this because the Twin Yo-Yos is something that a lot of people want. It's not something a lot of people want to see, but it's something that a lot of people appreciate because, you know, a lot of people are huge fans of Yo-Yos. And here we have Sora with the yo-yos, and that's something I did want to say that I forgot to say. It seems that Sora's fur changes color depending on what form he is when a Keyblade transformation happens, because that's how drive forms are working now in Kingdom Hearts 3. And the power form is obviously red, so it looks like these are power form. This is a power form Keyblade transformation, so you can check that out. A lot of people could argue that this could be, you know, the guard form, because the guard form is yellow, but I mean, this looks more red than yellow, if anything orange or whatever, and it doesn't seem to be a very guard looking like Keyblade, because, you know, people are going in with those Quick Claws and the Yos, so it seems to be a very offense driven looking Keyblade transformation. And this one in particular, oh no, like, he just sends out both of these yo-yos. They go huge and create a giant trap monster-like grip, and that's Heartless. Oh no. Oh no. And look, you can see the beady little eyes. It's like, oh, it looks like something you see out Banjo-Kazooie, but man, that large body is getting, man, out like, oh, dude, someone call the cops. Like, whoa. Now, one thing I do want to say throughout this entire segment is that we do see a situation command that is waiting in the wings, which is called Scream Strike. Now, this Scream Strike is, once again, just like Rocket Ruckus from the Toy Store world, I feel to believe, is a party situation command limit. So when you activate Scream Strike, scream as in, you know, everyone's screaming together, and strike like in bowling. So here we have Sora grabbing Mike Wazowski, which is probably Scream Strike because he's throwing Mike Wazowski like a bowling ball in order to hit all the Heartless in a strike like in bowling. Look, right, he hits them all. Strike, Scream Strike, it's right there. So they all, you know, get into like a little motion where they're all screaming, and then Sora just goes behind Mike, and then he's like, Sora, what are you doing? And he's like, my friends are my power, Wazowski. And then he just throws them, and then Scream Strike, that's what it is. So it seems that party limits are going to be situation commands in that sense, because you can see that right away. Scream Strike is waiting in the wings. You activate it, and then you activate the party limit, which is, in this case, Scream Strike, where Sora throws Mike Wazowski at all these Heartless pins that, you know, cause a strike. Now, here we have Meow Wow is back. Dream Eaters are back, which is weird because Dream Eaters shouldn't be able to attack outside of what is Dream. So is Kingdom Hearts 3 entirety of is Kingdom Hearts 3 all a dream? You know, don't think your dreams are just fantasy. If you can imagine a world, just jump right in. And I'm thinking way too much on this. I'm getting scared. All right. And it's funny because we do have a meter this whole time we're attacking all these people, which is Boo's laugh power. So I'm not entirely sure if the laugh power shows how strong the party members' attacks are, or how well lit the area is going to be. Because if we're going by what Monsters Inc. Established, is that laugh power is what powers everything around us. And every time Boo laughs, she was able to power all of the doors around her, because the power of laughter is a very, potent electrical source of energy in the movies. So maybe the amount of laugh power shows how well lit the air will be. And if the laugh power gets too low, then that means that Sora and company will be fighting literally in the darkness. And then if that happens, probably more unversed and more heartless will be around. It'll be a lot harder for you to fight and a lot harder for you to see your enemies. So that's probably what's going to go down. But yeah, we're here with the Meow Wow, and we have a bunch of commands for Wonder Balloon, which is Balloon Rush, Tornado Jump, and Cancel. And I feel that, this is probably going to be Balloon Rush, what's happening, because the Meow Wow just pops and a bunch of other, check out all the Dreamers just jumping off and stuff. And let's see how many Dreamers we can spot. We can spot the Ghost ones, the Baller Strikes, the Hungry Ghosts, the Penguins, the Kamoli Bat, the Ram Yam, the Yam Ram, whatever. What else? I think that's it. Do we see that giant panda? Yeah, we did. There's the pandas in the front. Okay, yeah, the panda's there. All right, the panda, a bunch of other Meow Wows. So yeah, we got a good amount. No Ryu dragons though. No, none of that. All right, that's unsettling. I'm sad. All right, here we have a rolling cask of energy storage or whatever. And then we see Sora come into contact with Vanitas. Now, there is something that I really want to point out. Sora's eye color in this seems to be, once again, going towards a type of greenish hue near the iris. Or I'd not say the iris. In his iris near the pupil. Now, this is the head theory that I have right now that I feel could be reflected in what he was talking to Marluxia in the beginning of the trailer. Because you can see there's a type of greenish hue near his pupil. I believe that whenever Sora comes into contact or speaks to one of the members of the organization, that happens. So whenever he's speaking to a member or whenever they're around him, his eye kind of goes from complete blue to having a tinge of green in his eye. And I feel that's a theory that I'm going to work on very soon, where it could be, Sora has some sort of maybe inherent connection with Xehanort that was established secretly in Dream Drop Distance. So whenever he's talking to a Seeker of Darkness or someone that has, Xehanort's a piece of Xehanort's heart within themselves, Sora reacts to that in kind by having a bit of a green tint in his eye that we only see in this segment and when he's talking to Marluxia. And I don't think it's, particularly something to do with the lighting, because in this area, even though there's subtle lighting, there's not a lot of green in this area. So, I mean, there's nothing really to argue for the case that, it could have been the area that he's in, because we do see a type of green in his eye, despite not having a lot of green around him. So that's, that's something to think about. And, I gotta say, seeing the Void Gear Keyblade in the Kingdom Shader, is it me, or has that handle always been that ridiculously big? That's funny. So, the funniest thing about Vanitas in this segment is he's wearing, you can tell that he's wearing his bodysuit in this segment, because we're gonna go back here and back up, and you can see right away if I zoom in a little bit that Vanitas is indeed wearing his bodysuit in this, because you can see from his neck and a tinge of red underneath the organization coat. So he's wearing the organization coat, he's wearing his body hood and his bodysuit, and he's wearing that helmet. Vanitas, pick one or the other. A lot of people believe that Vanitas could look like monster form, Cat Sora. That's why he decided to keep his helmet on at that time. I don't believe it, because one, the reason why Sora looks like that is because of Donald's magic. The reason why he transforms and looks like different versions of himself in different worlds is because of Donald's magic, in order to keep up with the world order or whatnot. Vanitas as a Secret of Darkness really doesn't care about that. They don't give a rip about, you know, the world order. They just go as they please. So, you know, there's no reason for him to look like Monster Kitty Cat Sora. Now it's funny because Sora recognizes Vanitas and calls him by his name, even though he's never met Vanitas in actual, you know, person form, and he's never called out Vanitas because he saw Vanitas in Dream Drop Distance, but he never called him out like this. And we do know, like, you know, it's kind of unanimous that Ventus was being channeled at that point, because like Vanitas, and he's like, huh, what? How do I know his name? And then he's like put his hand over his heart, because, you know, like I don't know who Vanitas is. Like, how did that happen? And I felt something from my heart. And it's like, Ventus, what a strange place to still off to. And he walks towards him, and he's like, you insignificant speck. And Sora's like, boy, if you don't get that hand away from me, he slaps his hand away, and then that's it. Kingdom Hearts 3. And that pretty much wraps up the analysis that I have for this trailer. But there's one thing I did forget to point out that I did remember going off to, and that's one attack that Mike Wazowski seems to be doing in the background as, you know, Sora's transforming his Keyblade. That seems like, check this out. So Sora's transforming his Keyblade. Oh my goodness. No, wrong one. Alright, Sora's transforming his Keyblade. Oh boy, where is it? Alright, here we go. Sora's transforming his Keyblade, right? And then we see like a little light thing that happens in the background with Mike, and that doesn't seem to be an attack from an enemy because he's not getting hurt and he's, you know, messing around. And it seems that a bit of his MP bar was used up a little bit in order to conjure up this light thing. So it seems that to be that's one of, you know, Mike Wazowski's attack, and it seems like he's cheering and whatnot. So I don't know, like, what is he doing? Is like he's like, you know, conjuring a spell, doing voodoo? I don't know, but that's something I just wanted to point out before I had, you know, roll at the end of this big old grand analysis trailer, secrets and stuff. Oh boy, I can go for a sandwich right now. Be sure to be on the lookout for my next trailer analysis, which is going to be the Don't Think Twice trailer, which is coming soon, probably tomorrow on the channel. And be sure to like, favorite, share, most importantly, subscribe to HMK if you enjoyed the video. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comment section below. So guys, until the next video, I've been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.